Now, a regional tournament for women supporting the United Nations 17 Global Goals, dubbed Global Goals World Cup, will be held in Nairobi this Sunday, the 5th of March. The Royal Danish Embassy, Safaricom, Save the Children, UNDP and Air Soccer partners in this tournament will assemble 24 teams of passionate women to experience the sheer joy of playing soccer and the meaningfulness of taking a stand for the world they want. Game of Thrones actor and UNDP Good Life ambassador Nicolaj Coster-Waldau will referee the tournament. The winning team gets a spot in the global final to be held in New York City in September of this year. Now, joining me in studio to talk more about this tournament is Magda Maria. She's CEO UN Global Goal World Cup. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So talk to us more about what exactly this seeks to do and achieve.
Well, I mean, it's really in a sense of, addressing that we need women to stand up for the Sustainable Development Goals. I mean, we need everybody to do it, but we definitely need women because there's so many of the issues that really involve us. So getting the women to go onto the field and take some actions for the Sustainable Development Goals, that's really, in a sense, what the idea of the tournament is.
Yeah. And this is the first time we're having in the SDGs women, gender, as one of the goals. What's the significance of that?
I think the awareness and understanding how important it is, how crucial it is. I mean, you and I, we can look at each other and say, oh my God, have we not gotten there yet? I mean, is it really that far away from just in all of us mind that we, of course, are equal?
Yeah.
So it's just really putting focus on that because we need to change it fairly fast if we need to reach these goals by 2030.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there are many women in the world. In Kenya, the numbers, women are more in population than the men. So why is it that still we talk about the girl child and getting this gender conversation going? What is it you attribute that to?
I think at least we're making space. It's not if you're just one person trying to say something, then it's difficult sometimes to raise your voice in a political situation or in a community situation. But if you are actually like a group or a team, then it becomes quite easy. I mean, not quite easy, but it becomes easier for sure that you're together raising a voice.
Yeah. So why football?
I think football is creating a body memory is so important. I mean, we all know from whatever memory we have from growing up with sports, there's a joy to that. So when we go on for the rest of our lives to go and play a sport, it becomes just a joy in doing it. So football is fun and it's also a really good sport. I mean, it's meaningful, it's healthy, it's fun, so... Yeah. Big language.
Yeah, it's a language that brings and unites people across the board.
Very much.
How many countries are involved in this?
So this is like an East African way. There's Somalia, Ethiopia, and Uganda that is playing, and then from all over Kenya, from Mozambique, from Mombasa, Marsabit.
Yeah. And how do you identify the teams? Who's going to be participating on the 5th?
So they all had to pick a goal that they wanted to play for, and they all have to, give us some passionate reasons why they picked their goal and what they want to do for that goal. So that was one of the criteria. So not just the football, it's amateur women playing. So, but you have to be passionate about the goals. Yeah.
And you're holding a ball. It has some graphics and some words on it. Take us through it.
Well, I mean, communication. UN asked sports to be the driver of change when they wrote that what all the 193 countries signed onto, and then we as a sports organizations is like, how do we support that? How are we going to be part of that change? So natural for us to put all the icons on the ball. So when you do play and when you hand this to anyone, you can take, you can look at zero hunger, gender equality, life below water, and just kind of have a conversation about what does all these goals mean to you.
Yeah. So the target is 2030 for the gender.
It's gender. It's targeting all the goals.
All the goals.
Yeah. I mean, we are just. I think gender is part of almost all of them. I mean, we are
intertwined.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there any progress that has been made so far?
Yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely positive things have happened. We can see that in many statistics. I mean, but it's a very, in a sense, as a woman, sometimes it feels it's very going back and forward. Yeah. Then suddenly you realize in one country, there's, they change a rule and you can't do child marriage, or they do something that changes our ability to enter schools, and so there's amazing law changes happening around the world, and sometimes suddenly,
Yeah. So is this a message you're taking to the schools, or is it a conversation that's still happening largely around the political circles?
Well, I'm very much, in a sense, on the ground. I'm very much grassroots, and then, of course, I have partnerships with UNDP and Save the Children, so big organizations that have their, that are, in many, many countries in the world. But in a sense, on the grassroots level, you sense that there is a feeling of this, okay, that we actually do some actions for the goals. It's not as sensitive as it used to be, and we don't any longer, we don't hear that sports shouldn't be political. Now it's, of course we get all political in a sense. We should all take responsibility for the world we live in.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this, the Global World Cup?
Global World Cup. Well, I mean, it's the third time we're doing it. We did it in Copenhagen in May during the Women Deliver Conference, and in New York in September, and then now, so this is the third one here in Nairobi on Sunday.
Yeah. So it's couple every year. There's several of them that are taking place.
Yeah, they will be moving around all over the world. Yeah. And every year there'll be the finals in New York, where the winning teams from wherever we play will be invited to play. So that's also why the winner from Sunday will be going to New York. In September.
So when you talk about the engagement, especially with, for example, the grassroots levels, when you interact with women there, is there an understanding of where we are in the world in terms of gender and getting that equal playing field across the many different, whether it's you in the east side of Kenya, western side of Kenya, or in other countries that you've traveled to?
I think there's a big understanding that it should be a natural right in many ways, and then I think there's a lot of culture that we have to dare to discuss, because it's not like all cultures are old cultures are bad. We just have to figure out which one is it that we in common ground want to bring with us. Which one is it that should survive? Because it's a big discussion. What is equality, in that sense, and how do we want to live our life? I as a football person, I will say, do I want to have the same playing field in the men? I don't necessarily think that their playing field is the best playing field. I would like to come up with one that I think would be a great playing field. So it's also discussions about what is it that we also want, and not just saying that we have to say it's the things that already exist. Yeah,
and other than working at the grassroots level with this partners you work with, are you engaging at a legislative aspect? Because, for example, in Kenya, we have not more than 2/3 gender rule that has encountered a lot of hurdles in as far as getting that solidified in the mechanism. It will be implemented to ensure that in the public institutions, not more than 2/3 are of the same gender. But that, of course, has its challenges here. So are you engaging at a policy level, at a legislative aspect with other stakeholders that you're working with?
I'm always trying to influence. I mean, I won the IOC award for women in sport in last year, and I think that's for some of the political work, in a sense, that I do, that I try to engage the IOC or big sports organizations in behavior change.
Right.
So and then in that sense, suddenly you see that raises to another level where suddenly they have lots of people in the sports organizations that we've never really that have never really given it up for women. Then there's like, now I'm a he for she person, or you see them. So that's, of course, at body sports organizations. But I think that we have, at that level, if we can get the entire world of sports to back the Sustainable Development Goals, we have a huge potential of reaching people at a very young age.
Right.
I mean, we can reach all children in that sense.
Thank you very much, Magda Maria, for joining us. Magda Maria is CEO, UN Global Goal World Cup, talking to us about that tournament that will be taking place this Sunday. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's